Hi, I'm Bianca Tarrant, co-founder of Our and welcome back to Paddock Talk. If you've ever wondered what it takes to perform at the top level of women's rugby league, you're about to find out. Today we're talking to someone who's not only a powerhouse on the field, but also a huge believer in the power of good food. Jayme Fressard, professional rugby league player, NRLW star and proud Our customer. We'll talk about what fuels her game and why clean eating matters more than ever in elite sport and how grass-fed Aussie beef fits into her recovery routine. Welcome, Jayme. Thanks so much for joining us on Paddock Talk.
Hey, Jayme.
Hi, thanks for having me on, guys.
No worries.
First things first, how is your elbow going? How's recovery?
Yeah, it's going good. I, after 6 weeks, finally returned to the field. Felt like a long but short 6 weeks, to be honest. Considering they first told me that it was going to be a season-ending injury, I think I've done pretty well to get back in 6 weeks.
That's incredible.
Crazy. Congratulations. Well done
Thank
to
you.
be back.
I watched the tackle, it looked pretty gnarly how it happened.
Oh, it was very gnarly. And I think the whole 24 to 48 hours after, it was actually a pretty traumatic experience, to be honest. It was pretty hectic. My elbow was out for probably about 5 hours after the incident actually happened as well.
Oh, it just dislocated it straight out?
Yeah, completely dislocated. It was actually when I was palming. So it didn't happen when I hit the ground. It happened as I was trying to palm. Just my force of me trying to palm and the angle that she come across, complete dislocation, and it was completely sideways. And I ruptured all the ligaments in the meantime doing it as well. So it wasn't just a dislocation. It was, the two main ligaments completely ruptured as well.
Jeez, it must have been a good palm. How'd the other girl come out after that? Hope she was worse off than you.
Yeah, I palm all the time. So I was actually kind of surprised that it was that much damage. But she's a strong girl as well. So I think it was just, unlucky, but the force of it as well.
Yeah, crazy.
What is,
very.
The ligaments is pretty, that's a whole nother injury in itself. What did it look like to recover those?
Yeah, that it is complete. The dislocation's one thing, trying to get it back in, but my arm's actually still not completely straight. It's still actually a little bit bent. But they said that's going to come with the range. I was very lucky not to get surgery. Most people, when they rupture the ligaments, will get surgery to do an elbow reconstruction. But my bones were in good tack, which meant that I just braced it up for 6 weeks, or up to 6 weeks, which I think I only braced it for 3 to 4. And then once I got out of it, it was a lot of resistant band work, straight into lifting weights and trying to get that strength and that range back in that arm.
Oh, crazy. Oh, well done to get back.
Yeah, thank you.
So pumped for you.
Thank you.
Can you give us a little bit of a background? Give us a rundown of how you got started in footy. What motivated you to want to play footy when you were a little girl? And give us a bit of a rundown on that.
Yeah, I actually grew up playing soccer. So I played soccer for about 10 years before I made the switch over to league. When I started, there wasn't actually much girls rugby league at all happening. So I didn't actually play rugby league until I was 18. And before that, played soccer growing up for about 10 years, started playing a little bit of Oz tag. And it wasn't until I got into school in year 10 that my teacher actually got me involved in rugby sevens. That was all that was around at the time. And within, I think, a year and a half of me playing rugby sevens, I ended up debuting for Australia, went to the Commonwealth Games, played for Samoa, and then played a bit of sevens in the development team for a year or two. And then I got a bit of a call from, I think it was Isabel Kelly at the time. She was playing for our local Berkeley Vale team and said, hey, you should come and give league a crack. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know we had a girls' league team around, and always grew up watching a lot of rugby league. But obviously, it wasn't much for us girls. So as soon as I had that opportunity to join a local team, I took it with both hands and I've never looked back.
Yeah, that's crazy. And would have been a life experience going to the Commonwealth Games in the rugby sevens like that. Have you got some good memories about that?
Yeah, well, I won the gold medal, so I got to take a gold home medal with me. That was definitely the highlight of the thing. But that was my first experience involved in any type of league, or union at the time. I loved it. I loved the tackle component. I love the physical component. So being in Samoa especially, it's a whole different, it's a third world country and they're just so grateful for everything they have over there, which is a massive eye opener. But I loved the experience.
So getting off topic a little bit here, and this has always been like a question that I've wanted to ask. What happens when you win a gold medal? Is there like, does the government like give you a fucking key to the city or something? Like what happens? It's like the biggest thing in the world. Like, is there, like what actually happens? Because it's crazy to get to that pinnacle of any sport.
Yeah, well, I was in the Youth Commonwealth Games, so we didn't get to. I don't think we even got to party too hard, to be honest. Yeah, nothing too spectacular, to be honest. I actually got drug tested straight after the game. That was my first experience.
Right.
That was my first experience of like an elite professional sport. They were like, I thought I was getting interviewed. I was like, oh, how good's this? Like, I just won a gold medal. And then they're like, no, you're going to get drug tested. I was like, are you serious?
So that's what happens. You basically get to the pinnacle, you win the gold medal, and then we think you're a fucking cheat, so we're going to drug test you.
I couldn't believe it. I'd never in my life. And I was just, like I said, I was cheering. I was like, I'm going to get interviewed. We've just won a gold medal. My team's celebrating. And I think I'd scored like, maybe 15 tries in that whole series. So I got leading try scorer, and straight away, instead of being like, hey, you've just celebrated, it was like, do this test.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Nothing too crazy from the government side of things, to be honest. We just flew back to Australia and carried on with our everyday life, which is pretty crazy to say, actually, now that I think about it.
Oh, thanks for clearing that up, Jayme. I think like the next step from there, like obviously entering into rugby league is it's learning different rules and things like that. But the game was pretty similar. Like where are you up to? Like for people that don't know who you are, who do you play for now? You've obviously made your debut for New South Wales and things like that as well. Can you give us a bit of a rundown on like where you are and like you're a first grade NRLW player, which is so cool.
Yeah, this is my fourth season now. I'm going into with the Sydney Roosters. I actually debuted with the Brisbane Broncos. So I had 3 seasons up there, and unfortunately in the first season I did my ACL, so we would be out for the first 18 and 19. But came back in 2020, debuted for the Broncos, had a season at the Knights. Shortly after that, I wanted to come back home. I'm a Central Coast girl, so wanted to be closer to home. And then I had the opportunity to go down with the Sydney Roosters, which, I haven't looked back since I've been there. This is my 4th season now, and I've got another 2 years contracted with them as well for the future.
So, Jayme, like obviously the transition into league, like, you're a famous NRLW star. Can you give us a little bit of a rundown around like who you've played for and where you're at in your career at the moment? And what position do you play also as well? I know that you told us you play in the middle. Is that your usual position?
No, I'm normally I'm a winger at the moment. I've played a few different positions. I've played in the centres.
That's a hell of a jump. So winger to playing front row.
Yeah, it's a weird combination. I don't think there's many like it. But wing to front row. Played a little bit of fullback. I've played a little bit of centre. Happy to play wherever the team needs me, to be honest. But I actually started with the Brisbane Broncos back in 2018, but unfortunately I did my ACL at the time, so that ruled me out for 2018 and 2019 series. And at the time there were only I think 3 or 4 games per season anyway, which is increased or double that by now. But had a season 2021 with the Knights and wanted to be closer to home. I'm from the Central Coast, so got the opportunity to also sign with the Sydney Roosters in 2022 and took that opportunity. And I've been there ever since. And I'm also contracted now until the end of 27. So, I'm locked in with the Sydney Roosters until then.
Yeah, that's so good. And like the other question I just wanted to ask is like, how does it feel? And you probably don't get to reflect on it that much, but you're at like the forefront of the NRLW. You're like such an inspiration to like young girls that are like looking at you as their hero and what they could potentially become down the track. Like I just think it's such a good pathway now that you girls have sort of like blazed the trail for the next generation of young girls. How does that feel to as for yourself?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, to be honest. And back when I first started, there wasn't female rugby league players that we could look up to. So to be on that forefront and be one of those players, it's why I always try and put my best foot forward and be that role model for these young ones coming through. But I also give a lot back to my community. I coach the Central Coast Roosters under-17s Lisa Fiola side. And I also work in high schools delivering youth programs through sport and life skills. So I just try and be that person that I needed when I was younger and give back and be that role model. Because, some of the girls coming through now, like, we're raving the way, but there's so much talent coming through. But it's also about teaching them the standard and what's expected to be at that elite level.
Oh, so good, mate. Like, yeah, good on you. Well done.
Thank you.
Changing tune a little bit now. So you're obviously extremely fit. Like I look at your Instagram videos and I see how much you train. Like you are seriously built. Like what goes into fueling yourself? Like you're obviously like how important is nutrition in your regime to be getting ready for footy?
Oh, super important, especially in that pre-season. You get given goals, whether it's to put on muscle mass or to lose a little bit of body fat. So eating is super important. And I think the preparation that goes into it as well, like your breakfast, your lunches, your dinner, especially me being on the go. I go from work, I go to training. So I've got a lunchbox packed with me every single day wherever I'm going, as well as my little handbag. And yeah, I've always got plenty of bags, but food's super important. Especially trying to hit those protein goals. For me, being a smaller girl, it's really important to try and hold my muscle mass. So me, it's really trying to hit those protein.
And what does a day on the plate look like in like when you're playing versus when you've been injured and recovering? Like what do those two different days look like for you?
Yeah, so a training day is a bit more carb focused. So we've got to have a certain amount of carbs. Each day is completely different, to be honest. I don't have one day that looks the same with my food. And I'm a bit of a foodie as well, so I like different types of food. So I try and have a variety of different things. But yeah, in the morning it's normally your bacon, your eggs, your breads, your whole meal type of stuff. Lunchtimes, your rice, your pastas with some type of protein, and the same at the night time. Your proteins, your carbs, your veggies, and then throughout the day, like I love my yogurts, I love my milks, I love my I'm a big foodie. I love that type of stuff. So just trying to make sure I even out throughout the day, getting my proteins and my carbs on a training day, especially, and an off day, trying to minimize that food a little bit. But again, it doesn't matter too much if you have a bit because you're just going to burn it off the next day anyway. That's how I see it anyway.
What about like after game? Is there like something that you just love to have after the game? Like, are you hooking into a big box of donuts or like what's your after game
Uh,
to?
I don't eat straight away after the game, to be honest. I find it a bit difficult because your adrenaline's running, you're coming down off caffeine, but I love a good chalky milk, to be honest. Something I can just smash a chalky milk. And then maybe like a fat burger or something a little bit later on.
Yeah, nice. And
Nice.
what about like you said that you're on the go a fair bit. So like you're going from work to training, home. Like what's something like quick and easy that you grab when you're on the go?
Oh, that's a tough one. Up and goes are obviously a good one. Your bananas, your yogurts, those types of things as an easy snack. And then also things I like to have on the go as well as like, your chicken wraps, avocado, those types of things I can eat because a lot of the time I'm in a car or I'm walking to a session or so I don't get a lot of time unless I'm at school where I've got a proper lunch break where I get to sit down and eat like a pre-cooked meal, which I've normally prepped beforehand.
Are you a bit of a meal prepper?
I've gotten better at it. I have to now, to be honest. I have to be.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure. And like, it was probably nearly like a year ago that you reached out to us. And like, how did you even find our cow? Like, how did you get discovered? How did you discover us, and why did it resonate with you?
Yeah, I seen you guys on Instagram. I think one of the girls might have been doing a little bit of work with yous, and I had to scroll through and looked what yous were about. And I'm from the Central Coast, which isn't proper country, but I love what yous are about. Giving back to farmers, I think it's really important. Here in Australia, I don't think we have enough support with our farmers. So for me, that was a massive thing that I seen you guys do and thought if I can be involved somehow, it's definitely something that I would love to promote and something that I really truly value. So yeah, I reached out to you and we made that connection. But yeah, again, I love what you do, and I feel like if I can contribute in some way to the farmers, it's something we don't want to lose in Australia, and I think it's super important that we have that base so we keep it here.
For sure. I think the Central Coast is basically a country town.
I call it country town. So I hate going into the city when I'm at training. I'm like, oh, get me back to the coast.
Yeah, it's not the city, that's for sure.
No.
Okay, so like life off the field for you. So like how do you stay grounded and like true to yourself when you're in those high pressure moments? Like you said, you've played in some pretty intense games, like you've been overseas, you played Commonwealth games, the state of origin, like premierships. Like what are you doing to keep yourself level headed in those high intense moments?
I think I thrive off those moments, to be honest. I don't know if you know, but I'm very ADHD, so I actually really thrive off those high pressure moments and being involved. My mind's quite busy all the time, so for me, when I'm playing footy, that's my focus, and that's what I'm thinking about when I'm on that field. Sort of takes away and drowns out everything else that's going on outside me. So I've always said sport's like a massive getaway for me, and it's my outlet. So I feel like when I am playing, I'm so focused on me. I'm so focused, involved in the game that I'm not thinking about everything else actually going on around me. But I just love to get involved. I love my hands on the ball. Yeah, I love tackling. I love it all. So I just try and get involved as much as I can throughout the game, which I think helps with those moments. As soon as I get a touch on the ball, then I'm pretty much set into the game.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. What do you think's been like apart from the Commonwealth Games, has there been any other like standout moments like in your career that, you know, you hold that like, you know, that are so special to you?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. I've won 2 premierships, one with the Brisbane Broncos. That was my first premiership. I missed the first 2 again because I was obviously out. I was involved with it, but didn't actually get to take the field until the third grand final that they won. And I think last year, especially, won my second grand final with the Sydney Roosters. But for me, that one really felt earned. The 2 years prior to that, we obviously lost our semi-finals, and we'd gone so well in all our season games, and yeah, unfortunately lost that semi-final. Where last year we fought really hard the whole year through. We got through that semi-final, which for us actually felt like a grand final. So when we won that grand final, it was just sort of felt like everything we had completed throughout the last 3 years finally paid off. So that was massive for me, to be able to put on, you know, that ring and put on that jersey with the Sydney Roosters last year. And then to top it off this year, I finally got my New South Wales debut and won this series. So that goal in myself almost took me 10 years. I was 18th man back in 2016. And then, yeah, throughout injuries and obviously New South Wales is stacked. So I've had to fight really hard to get that spot this year. And again, felt really well deserved for me, to be honest.
100%. Should be super proud. And like, what sort of advice would you give to young athletes coming up in the sport, especially young girls? Like you said before, you're working a lot in the youth space, giving a lot back to the community. Like, what sort of advice are you giving to up and coming girls in the sport?
I think focusing on you, like it's not a competition with other people, which is massive. Like a lot of people compare themselves to other people, which I think if you can focus on you and work out, you know, what your strengths are, even what your weaknesses are and how you can work on that. When I first came to rugby league, I didn't know how to pass the ball even at all. So for me, that was something that I had to work on. So I think for females, especially, it's not comparing yourself, especially online these days with everything, you know, the models, what you're meant to look like every single person's different. I'm 5'1". I'm one of the smallest girls out there, but it's not about that on the field. It's about, you know, all the hard work that I've put into myself to get to me where I am. And I think I know when I take that field, it's, you know, I've done all the hard yards to get me to where I am, which helps with that confidence on the field.
Certainly a tough bugger. And speaking about that, one question I did want to ask, and this is coming from a clean skin, right? I have no, like, you've got a mad leg tattoo. How long did that take? And did that freaking hurt? Because that looks like it would seriously cause pain.
Yeah, my leg sleeve all up took about 38 hours all up.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah. And that was over 4 days. The first 3 days I sat through almost 30 hours worth. I think it was like 10 hours and 8 hours and 6 hours or whatever it added up to be. And then I got a bit more added to it. Probably only about 2 years ago, and that took me another 6 hours or something like that. I'm not going to lie, I did use a little bit of numbing cream, so I didn't feel completely everything. But the after pain was almost worse, to be honest, because behind my knee, it's completely almost black. So, you know, when you've had a scar and you can't move your arm. So for about a week, I had a straight leg walking around until it all scabbed over.
Dave like passes out at the side of a needle.
Yeah, so no tattoos on me. I'm complete clean skin, but
no, that's fair enough. No, it's fair enough. It's not for everyone.
Okay, my last question for the pod is, what is your go-to recipe? Like, what are you cooking at home? What's something that you love to cook? Like, do you do the cooking at home? Yeah, run me through what you like to cook and a favorite all-time recipe of yours.
Yes, yes, I am the cooker at home. I do love a good barbecue. If I've got time, for me, it's slow cooked ribs. I love slow cooked ribs. That's probably my go-to. if I need like a quick little dinner, something that's not going to take me too long, it's like a marry me chicken. So it's like a tomato creamy chicken, and I normally just serve that up with some rice. But if I've got some time and I'm feeling good, I'll always go to a barbecue or some ribs.
So ribs, like beef ribs, pork ribs, which is your preference?
Nah, beef ribs are my favourite. The nice big juicy ones.
Yeah, nice. Slow cooked in the slow cooker or smoked it?
Nah, normally in the slow cooker. I like it in the slow cooker, and then I normally put the sauces back on and then chuck it in the oven for a little bit to crisp it up.
Stop it.
When was the last time we had a feed on that, Bianca?
So long ago.
You'll notice in all my orders there's beef ribs in it every single time.
Beef ribs.
Every time.
Well, thanks, Jayme. That's so good.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps up our little podcast today. So thanks for tuning into this episode of Paddock Talk with Jayme. Whether you're playing elite sport or just trying to eat a little bit better, what you put on your plate matters. That's why we're proud to back Aussie farmers who raise their food with care and quality that you can taste. If you're enjoying the series, share it with someone who cares about where their food comes from, and give Jayme's beef ribs a go. See you next time. Thanks so much.
That was awesome. Thank you.